All right, so it's a brilliant afternoon, and then I want to wish all our Muslim faithful who are joining us live a happy holiday celebration. Today is also going to be one of those unique, really very unique days where we bring you cutting edge information that, at least from our previous masterclass, can help you navigate properly some of the slight concerns you have in your veterinary practice. Don't forget, this channel is meant for farmers and animal health professionals. We bring you the very best people who are experts in their fields, people who can say things the way they are, people who can add to your knowledge, but more importantly, people who can bridge the gap between where you are now and then where, of course, you need to be. We have a beautiful old man, uh, one of those very, very outstanding clinicians we have in the veterinary profession in Nigeria. She has been working with one of the famous. Well, if you're in the veterinary circle, you're in the animal health circle, and you're in the north or in Nigeria generally, and you've not heard of Vetco Diagnostic, then maybe you're one of those people we'll be talking about today, because we do blind diagnosis. Well, I don't want to let the cat out first, but again, I need to be sure that we are good and we are set. We are going to be having Dr. Tumsiyya in today's masterclass. Doc, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good to have
Yeah,
you.
same here, same here. Thank you for having me
And happy
with
holiday. We took part of your holiday
with the
anyway.
thank you with the wonderful introduction. Thank you so much.
No,
I
it's
feel honored,
fine.
yeah.
It's
Thank
fine.
you.
So
Yes.
you're one of those clinicians in vetco diagnosis that is responsible for solving all farmers' problem, right?
I'm putting a smile on their faces. Yes.
And it's good. I think the topic we're going to treat today is really very important, right? Because Africa
Yes.
is where it is because of the way we do things. So to move things away from where we are to where we need to be, one of the things we need to now start doing is to stop, as you said yesterday, we have a conversation yesterday, to stop being a magician. So you want to brief us poultry disease, poultry diagnosis. What do you think, and where are the missing gaps? Over to you, Doc.
Okay. Thank you for having me once again. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to be here and be, given this opportunity and platform to share my knowledge and my idea and basically how I do things and how we all as professionals are expected to act. So before I go further, I want to say how important laboratory analysis is. It's an imperative and important intensive poultry production because what it does is it helps you to investigate, to diagnose and confirm a suspected case. So we are called professionals for a reason, I believe. So people, when they call you a professional, people expect some quality, some certain quality of service from you and some quality of service, reliability. And I don't know how anyone is planning to do that without accuracy. And accuracy itself is what would define the quality of the service you're providing. So, and most poultry production is like is one of the most important, if the most commonest farming um, people go into, especially they go either large scale or small scale. But here, this part of the world, a lot of people go into poultry production for both meat production and um,
Eggs.
what do you call it? Egg production,
Eggs.
both. So as farmers, as professionals, farmers expect us to solve their problems when they come crying. And how do we do that? So I encourage us as professionals, veterinarians, animal scientists, community health workers, to come together and embrace and engage the use of the laboratory to come to a conclusion, to investigate, diagnose, and confirm a case and solve problems. So we need to put an end to blind diagnosis. We need to change the narrative, okay? We can't go on like this. I personally, I have first-hand experiences of farmers coming into my office with gloomy faces, and I prefer them solutions. They leave my office smiling, and that's because I have used laboratory aid to investigate and confirm problems on their farms.
So, but doc,
So
if
we are
you,
charged with responsibilities as vets, as
if
professionals in general.
I want to quickly come in,
Yes,
right? So I know that it's a tough time for
yes,
farmers, right? Now it's really a very tough time for farmers. The
yes,
cost of feeds,
yes,
and
yes, it is.
then the even the cost dollars also affected
Cost of
cost of
inputs
drugs,
generally.
input generally. So an average farmer
Yes,
is not smiling.
yes,
Then when you add this major stress to the farmers, on that stress, you're also adding misdiagnosis.
yes. So you
Doesn't
can
add up,
imagine.
right?
And how I do, yes, um, how
Go
I
ahead.
do my own thing is mostly farmers only understand when you put the numbers out there. Okay, this is what you stand to gain. This is what you stand to lose because they're already facing a lot with the increasing change in price and both feed, vaccines, biologicals, drugs, everything is just on the rise. So you need to put the number out there. So you need to tell them, okay, this is what you stand to gain. This is what you stand to lose. And then when you present the case properly, they know that they stand to gain more than they stand to lose. And I can give a case scenario where a farmer with 1,000 laying birds has a problem on his farm, and before he reaches out to a veterinarian, he has decided to buy an antibiotics worth some amount of money, like a popular antibiotics people love to use, which is expensive. You use the antibiotics, you don't get results, your birds continue dying, and you have subjected your birds to array of drugs. And so basically, it's just losses upon losses. So I put the numbers out there. I had a case, a real life scenario where the farmer, yes, he had 1,000 birds, and that's why I'm using this case. So it was a real life experience. And by the time we did all the calculation, the farmer lost about 36 to 40,000 naira when he could equally have just used half half of it to solve his problem. And that was what actually happened. Because when we came in and we rendered our services, we carried out certain laboratory analysis, and we found out that he just could have basically saved half of what he spent. So I have clients now who walk into my office, and immediately I take history. The next thing they say is, Doctor, please, I want you to do tests
For you,
because they
for them.
have seen the value. Yes, they outrightly, I have more than 50% of my clients now. They come in, they understand, they know the value. So they outrightly just request for. And I smile, I say, no problem, madam, or no problem, sir. You get it done. We're here to help you. So farmers basically understand the language of money. They understand when you put out the numbers, they stand to understand better. You don't bore them with technicalities, you don't bore them with things they don't understand. And in this time now, we have a challenge of a global challenge of AMR, antimicrobial
So
resistance, which everybody is aware of.
that's what I want to talk about now, right?
Yes,
Because that's what's
yes,
making your topic really very important for us, right?
yes,
So
yes.
it's not what you do by not doing the proper diagnosis and you use antibiotics also shows up
In,
in our human hospitals. Because
yes,
first of all, the animals are resistant to the antibiotics, right? Then
yes.
somehow we get to transfer it to humans. Doc, I think this masterclass will really go beyond the veterinary community to the human community because of the
Yes.
simple thing you've just mentioned, antimicrobial resistance. But I want
Resistance.
to ask, so why don't people do proper diagnosis? Why don't people carry out laboratory tests in Africa? Are we just born that way? We just believe in magic.
I'm sorry to say, we Africans generally have a problem with doing things the right way. But then, one thing I have realized along my years and little experience is that we as professionals have an important role to play to make people understand, to speak with one voice, to speak the same language. I can tell a farmer that I need to subject your flock to an array of tests to come to a conclusion that your farm has a problem. And the same person with my qualification is telling the person otherwise. So we contradict each other. So we need to come together and speak with one voice. So that if I, as a vet, is telling you this, another vet is telling you the same thing, and another animal scientist is telling you the same thing, a community health animal worker is telling you the same thing, then the farmers will come to the conclusion that yes, this is a process, and these people are not magicians. So basically, we professionals have a role to play because we need to understand, we need to make people understand that it's a process. It's not magic. It's not something you wake up and then it's automatically okay. No, it has to go through a process so we can come to an appropriate diagnosis and have, you know, a permanent solution
Thing done. So,
to the
Doc,
problem. So,
I
yeah.
think what you're generally saying is that we could be penny wise and pound foolish, right? So, because
Yes.
sometimes the reason why people
Yes.
don't go through this test is they think it's expensive.
Yes, yes, yes. They think it's expensive. That's why I said you always have to throw the numbers at them. Because whenever you do the analysis, you sit down with a white paper and a pen and you sit your farmer down, you calm them down, you explain to them, you throw the numbers. They actually see the difference. When you do it properly, they save costs. It saves costs, it increases their production, and basically everything. Because you can imagine them going, subjecting the animals to array of antibiotics during that process of that infection or whatever problem is going through, whatever problem is happening on the farm. There's a drop in egg production. They're probably having mortalities. So you can imagine. So just put the numbers out there. They understand, based on personal experience, they understand that language better. So
So,
once you get them on board, then you can start talking to them about other concerns and other reasons as to why they should engage and embrace the use of the laboratory aid when it comes to solving problems generally.
all right. So let's start right from the basics. But if you're
Yes.
watching and you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I think you should do that right away. If you know how important what she's talking about, the issue of laboratory tests in poultry medicine, then you should give her a thumbs up. Doc, I want to ask, right? So walk me through the process. A farmer comes,
Okay.
how a farmer comes with a complaint, in the advert we sent out. Doctor, my birds are pooing blood. And then the doctor just picks up his phone. He said, go to a vet store, look for Prococ or Embazine. We just do. In fact, the farmer now they have a very good idea of all the brands of product that we have, and then they use it. They call you back. They said it's not because you've not even figured out whether it's a worm problem or it's coccidia. We just prescribe drugs. So walk me through the ideal process when a farmer calls you for a complaint. How do we go about proper diagnosis in poultry medicine? Go ahead, doctor.
Yes. So generally, there is a process, and we have to respect process. We have to put process in place. So a farmer calls me, doctor, my birds are pooing blood. I say, come to the clinic, bring a bird. If you have a fresh carcass, you can come down with it. If you have any morbid animal, you can come with it so I can humanely put it down and do a proper diagnosis. So you have to come to the clinic. We sit down properly. You take me through. I take proper history. I ask you a few questions. Their feeding, their housing, vaccination. There are a lot of questions that will help me come to a conclusion, inclusive, PM inclusive. And if need be, I need to pay a farm visit. I go down to your farm and see if it's not just the bird that has a problem. There are other things, maybe managemental issues that need to be addressed so the case can proper. So it's mostly a holistic management rather than you calling me over the phone and telling me your birds are pooing blood and I just give you a prescription over the phone. So it's a process. You come to the clinic, I take history, you take me through duration, when it started, and I ask you a few questions. We as professionals know questions. We have leading questions. We ask, our farmers that can help us come to a conclusion, coupled with postmortem examinations, laboratory aid. Like in cases where somebody calls me and says, okay, I have my birds are pooing blood. I tell you to bring the sample. I perform a PM. I take intestinal scrapings. I come to the lab and go to the farm and take some few grams of freshly passed stool for simple flotation techniques. So basically, these are things. That is how I handle my case. Yes, sometimes we just think a lot of things. Yeah, we know there are things that are pathognomonic to certain diseases, but it doesn't always boil down to that. You have to go through a process. You just don't imagine. And with poultry, there is always one thing I know about birds is their cases are it's always a case of comorbidity. It's not, it can never be one. It can never just be that coxy. There is something else. So I need to see the bird. I need to have a proper picture, a full picture of the whole case so I can come to a conclusion. So basically that's my day-to-day process.
All right. So I think something is slightly wrong with the network, but okay. So what she's saying in general, and for everybody who is listening, until she gets back her network, is that poultry is a medicine, right? Professionals follow procedures, right? So when cases come in or farmers gives us a call, one of the things that adds to our professionalism and help us maybe die down the issue of quackery to a large extent is following some of these basic lay down procedure. I want to say if you're watching online, you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, hit the subscription button and then give Dr. Tumsiyya a very big thumb up while we work towards getting up her internet. I know she's based in Kaduna, and I know Kaduna is in Nigeria. For those of us watching outside Nigeria, Kaduna is a state in Nigeria, and I know sometimes the network fluctuates, but I figure out that she will be back shortly because we had a couple of trials, and then also did a plan on how to get back just in case things like this happen. So I want to emphasize the need to have proper diagnosis done in poultry medicine. I know there are issues here and there, and the reason why proper diagnosis are not maybe most likely adhered to, but those are issues we're going to be discussing. If you have a question, I'd like you to put your questions in the chat bot. I'm going to be bringing, okay, I see some comments already. Give a thumb up. I see some comments already. Well done, doctor. So if you let us know where you're watching from, and then what questions you might have for Dr. Tumsiyya when she's back from the great little internet break, I guess we will be able to fix it together. So the issue is in poultry medicine. What are the list of the easy or simple diagnostic tests we can carry out to help us in proper disease diagnosis, which is really, really, really very important so that we don't do blind treatment. All right, she's back. I'm going to be bringing her back on board shortly. All right, doctor, we missed you. So can you unmute yourself? You're muted. Just a moment. All right, she's back. Good. Welcome back.
Yes. Thank you.
The internet happened, and
Yes,
then
it
but
happened.
thankfully you're back. All right, so you were talking
Yes,
about
thank you.
we're talking initially about blind diagnosis, how it has affected the industry, and then you mentioned the procedure, you asking real questions, clinical questions that can help you identify what's wrong, and even sometimes going to the farm to carry out more investigation, then running various tests
Exactly.
to ensure you come to a proper
Yes.
diagnosis before you start prescribing drugs, right? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's go down to the list of some of these tests in poultry medicine that we can
Essential
all
test.
carry out.
Yes, yes. So I'm going to list out what's obtainable around us here, we're in Nigeria. I'm not going to go around telling people about real-time PCR and what have you not. So I'm going to list out what's obtainable in terms of diagnosis down here, at least something we have to help us. So we have a list of, we have the antibiotic sensitivity test, otherwise some people call it the antibiogram. So basically what it does, a general purpose media, and it comes up with, and then um, you inoculate the sample on the media, and then you have different drugs, different discs infused with several antibiotics, and you culture, you leave over for 24 hours, and then you have a pattern of growth, which will guide you on what drugs this particular organism you're dealing with is sensitive to, and or which that particular organism is resistant to. So that is that. That's the basic one we have around here. We also have, after the ABSD, you can go further to culture
Oh,
and
oh, oh,
isolate.
okay. When you say ABST, so that our viewers can also
Yes, it's the
understand,
yes,
antibiotics
it's the antibiotic sensitivity
sensitivity
test
test,
or the
right?
antibiogram. Yes, some people call it the antibiogram.
So why do you do that? To know the specific
So
antibiotics.
basically, after PM, yes, the antibiotics choose yes. So you don't have to subject. I'm particular about animal welfare. So you don't have to subject these animals to array of drugs. You know, people have made these animals an object of trial and error. So you just give them, you give them, you give them. Whenever it works, you're like, oh, this is it, and then you stop there. No, we can put an end to it. There's a simpler way to do this, both for our own well-being and the well-being of the animals. So you just do a basic, a simple antibiotic sensitivity test, and it gives you the accurate and appropriate antibiotics to use. And voila, your problems are solved. But then you have to, when you have a problem with a poultry farm, you have to give it a holistic approach. Sometimes it's not always an infectious process. There are non-infectious process. There are problems related to managemental issues. And when I'm talking about non-infectious process, it could be a problem from the feed, from the water, and that is where we have tests like water quality test, where you check the physical chemical properties of the water in terms of the pH, in terms of the total hardness, ammonia, chloride, nitrate, nitrites, and what have you not. And then we also have the bacteriological analysis, that's the water microbiology for short, where you can check the fitness of the water. You look out for certain organisms like salmonella, coliforms, non-coliforms, vibrio, and the like of it, and the likes of it. So this, and then you can also do a feed microbiology, where you can check if the feed is infected. You can look out for salmonella and the likes of others. And also there's the proximate analysis, and this is where you check for the nutritional analysis to make sure that the feed is fit in terms of nutritional, in terms of components, nutritional components. You're talking about fats, the basic contents of poultry feed. Yes, so basically that's it. And also have biology, water quality tests, water microbiology, and the likes of it. So we also have other tests, such as they call it serology. Basically, you use most of these tests for disease diagnosis and also to monitor the general health, the status, the immune status of your flock. So we have HAHI, and what it means is hem agglutination and hem inhibition test. So basically what it does is you use the serum of the birds, you collect samples from live birds, and you run this test. Either different reasons will warrant you to run the test, as I stated earlier, either for disease diagnosis or for serum monitoring. We also have the ELISA, enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. So that one, you can run several tests with that based on the kits you have available. You can do for IB, you can do for IBD, for Newcastle, for avian leukosis, avian reovirus, and like mycotoxicosis in feed. So basically, there are leading situations and leading circumstances that will warrant you to request for certain tests. And that is when it starts from a farm visit, from a conversation with the client, proper history taking. These are findings. These are investigations that will help you narrow down where to query on the farm. Is it the feed? Is it the water? Is it the environment? The birds themselves? So that's why it's a process, So this is what will help you come to a conclusion that, okay, I need to query this, I need to query the feed, I need to query the water, other than the routine. We have farms that we go for routine visits, and we advise them to do certain things, like check the quality of their water, their feed, monitor the immune status of their animals. But other than that, in cases of disease outbreak, it's better to pay the farm a visit so you can manage it in a holistic manner. So basically, I think those are the list of tests we have available at our doorsteps, literally. And I'm sure we have labs available to render the services I listed.
So you're not yet free, right? Just to give our audience a
Yes.
recap, right? So don't hurry
Yes.
into prescribing drugs. That's what she's saying, right?
Thank you.
There's a
Follow a
holistic
process.
way. Yes, you're a professional, so you should follow a procedure.
A process. Yes. People
Thank
expect
you.
quality from you. Yes.
Thank you. Because that's what differentiates you from a quack if
And
you're a animal health professional. And that's
and so
what.
long, and the thing is, yes, so long as we stick to this blind diagnosis,
Mm,
what makes us different? How do we battle the we cry out of day we cry out day in, day out about, this is the only way we can literally differentiate our services from theirs. We all have roles to play. The animal scientists have their roles to play. We as vets have our roles to play. The community health animal workers have. So it's, we come together and we prefer, at the end of the day, we just want our farmers to be happy, to have money in their bank accounts, for
exactly.
the animals to be safe and
Exactly.
healthy,
Exactly.
basically. So it's for a purpose. So we can all come together and achieve the set purpose. Yes.
So
Yes.
if you consider yourself a
Work hand in hand.
professional, you have
Yes.
to follow a process. And she's saying there's more to it than just telling the farmer, go and buy this drug, right? What you need to do is to
Yes.
ask very questions that could lead you to identifying what the problem is. Because somebody even said, when you know exactly what the problem is, you've gotten half of the solution. And not doing tinini tanana biko biko.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So
Because I'm telling you, subjecting, literally frying the liver of the birds. You open some birds and the friability of their liver is scary.
because they've used
Some people even working, they've used so many,
so
they've
many
subjected
and they
animal
combine
heat.
it.
Some carcasses, when you open them, you can
Mm,
smell the residue of the antibiotics. Like, you can smell during PM, when you open it, you can perceive, the smell. That's how bad. So most of the times when people come in with such problems, I just say, see, madam, Oga, you don't have any choice at this moment, except if you want your birds to continue dying. We have to go to the lab. You don't have a choice. You have, and after going into the lab and they see results, next time, doctor, some of them will even come. By the time, doctor, I want ABST. Oh. Before you send this, doctor, just do ABST for me. Oh. Doctor, just let them monitor my flock. Oh. Things like that. So
because it's
it's just to
precision
get
medicine.
them on board, to understand, to bring the value. It's precision medicine. Yes, it's medicine. So we need precision. Yes,
It's not
to be specific. Yeah.
biko low medicine, right? So you listed some
No,
tests
no, no, no. We need to be
and
aggressive. That
I want to list them. You said we could do ABST,
yes,
and ABST is antibiotic sensitivity test. You call it one
yes.
other name. What name was that?
Antibiogram. Some people call it
Antibiogram,
antibiogram.
right? So
Yes,
it's a master
yes.
class, so we can throw out some of those big words.
Just the word.
Then
Yes,
you said
yes,
water test, water quality test. You said we could also
yes,
analyze the feed, because sometimes some problems are from the maybe probably the storage of some of this feed. You said
yes.
you
And
also talk.
also some farmers that self-formulate their feed. You have to check, because the quality of their raw materials are questionable. Because
Questionable.
most of these commercial companies, they have their quality check. So they make sure that their raw materials are, up to standard. But somebody who does
Com-
self-formulate can just go to the market and buy anything. So the quality of their raw materials are questionable. So things like that. Yes,
So
yes.
the feed quality. Then you also talked about proximate analysis to know the various constituents, whether they are balanced of those feeds, right?
Proximate
Analysis.
analysis.
Yes. Then you also talked about serology. Then you talked about ELISA, right? Now, one of the key reasons
ELISA is a
why
serological method.
method. All right. So one of the key reasons why vets don't go through this long, really long process is because we think that some of these things are expensive to set up. You can just keep keeping your comments coming in. I see a couple of comments. I just want us to be done with the details. By the time we're done with the details, then we're going to now be engaging. I've seen comments, nice one, Dr. Etc. So, but I'm going to focus on the questions shortly. But again, most professionals think that some of these tests are really far to reach, right? And everybody has to keep life and body together. So, which of these tests is about the easiest to set up and the easiest to carry on, especially when you have problems on farm? Is the ABST, what and what do you need to carry out ABST, antibiotic sensitivity test? Do you have a list, a quick list?
Ah, basically, yes. Basically, you need your incubator, you need your media, you need your petri dishes, you need your swab stick, and all of these things. I think the costliest, not that I think, the costliest of all of this is your incubator.
Do you
You
have
need
an
your
idea of how much
incubator,
it costs?
most especially. I don't, but I'm sure it costs, some few thousands of naira.
No, so
I'm
I
not
think it's
sure.
around
I'm not
50,000.
exact
I
about
got
the price.
some for somebody,
Yes,
maybe a
yes,
basic one,
yes.
around
Yes, so you need an
50,000.
incubator. You need an incubator. You need your petri dishes. Um, you need your definitely you need a space. You need a space. You need your
Yes, yes,
petri dishes,
yes.
and then you need your media. And then you also need your deck, your disc infused with with different antibiotics
That,
available, and also your swab sticks, and of course you need your personnel,
to
your
run
sharp guys,
this. Mm.
whoever, you need a technical, yes, you need a technical person, yes, to run this test, yes, and understand the principles behind it. So that's about it.
And then,
And then the water quality test too for the
okay,
you
I'll come to
so
the water
maybe the
quality
water.
test. I'll come to the water quality test shortly. But let's still talk about the antibiotic sensitivity test. I think the multiplication of antibiotic sensitivity tests in various vet clinics will be one of the most remarkable things that can happen to us in Africa to reduce
Definitely.
antimicrobial resistance, right? I know there was a
Their
time I came to
resistance,
Vetco
definitely,
and you were
definitely.
my mentor, right? Teaching me how to carry out most of these basic tests,
Oh
right?
my God.
Well, that
Thank you,
was true.
sir.
You
Thank you.
taught me. And then one of the key things I left your Vetco diagnostic with is that some of these things are really not expensive. And I really want us to stress this. For vets, uh, if you have 100,000, right, and a small space, it's easy. You can, petri dishes are not that expensive, the medias are not that expensive. Then you have to pay me, right, so that I can connect you with Dr. Tumsiyya to teach you with an hour a day full of training. You'll be able to carry out most of these basic antibiotic sensitivity tests. And then it can also be a source of revenue, right? Because you equally charge the farmer
Yeah,
and say, farmer,
you
this
charge the
is,
farmers, yes.
rather than tell you to use an array of antibiotics, you can carry it out.
Are serious and expensive. They usually go to diagnose because farmers have this ideology. The more expensive the antibiotics, the stronger it is. It's going to solve my problem because it's expensive. And sometimes a cheaper brand, not a cheaper brand, a cheaper antibiotics will stay, will solve
We
the
solve
entire
the
problem.
issue.
And sometimes when you look at the problem, yes, when you look at the problem, you might even narrow it down to the fact that there is no need for antibiotics. There are other measures you can put in place, and everybody's
Exactly.
happy without
Exactly.
subjecting the animals.
Exactly. So, and I think you're right. That's why you also talked about the holistic approach of this whole thing. Because, again, once you understand where the problem is coming from, you can equally direct your solutions towards that. Then let's talk about water quality
Yes.
test. So how important is water quality test and how expensive it is to set up?
Okay. For the physicochemical analysis, all you need is your strip. They have strips that come, and you can use them to just carry out. You have your water sample, and you can just dip it in for a few minutes, and you put it out. And so it means is a rapid test. There is no need for setting up any space. And for the water microbiology, you already have your incubator, you have your petri dishes, you have your test tubes. You're good to go. All you need is your water sample. So you can use the same incubator for your ABST. You can use the same incubator for your water microbiology. You can use the same incubator for your feed, basically, and you have your media. So they use around about the same media for all of this. Not the same, but yes, you have your commonly available media like the general purpose media. We have the selective, we have the differential media, depending on what you're doing and what you're investigating. So basically, once you have your incubator, you have your personnel. Every other thing, you have your enrichment media and what have you not. So every other thing should fall in place.
All right. So what you're basically saying is that for the strip, right, for the water test, you just need a test strip to use, and I'm not sure that's very expensive, right? And then you equally need what you set up for your antibiotic sensitivity test. What you've set up for the ABST can also be used for your water microbiology. Am I correct?
And your feed microbiology too, and your
And
feed
also your feed
microbiology.
microbiology. So
Yes, yes, yes.
I think if we hit to this advice, most of the issue of prescribing wrong antibiotics will really be like if we don't eliminate it entirely, we can invariably reduce it. Proximate analysis, how easy is it to set up? That one I'm asking the question with a smile. Proximate analysis, serology, ELISA. Can you walk us through what are the costs or what are the various steps involved in setting up this test in our various clinics?
Okay, for the HAHI, that
Now,
one too is
HA,
it's
what's
quite it's
HAHI?
quite simple. Hem agglutination, hem inhibition test. So basically, what that does is you need the serum of your birds. That means you need to take blood sample from your birds in a dry bottle that's coagulant free bottle, because you need the serum to separate from the whole blood, because you need your serum to run your HAHI. So once you have your serum, you have your vaccine, you have your blood RBC from your specific pathogen free bird, and you have your plates. There are this we have this plates they use, the 96 well plates, and then you have your pipette tips, and then you have your micro pipette. Basically, that's all you need for your HAHI.
So,
Yeah.
from the look of things, it's
So that's
also not
for the HAHI. And for the ELISA, that's the most expensive of all of
expensive.
them, because you need your ELISA machine. And that does not come cheap. That's one. And then you also need your kits. Those ones too are equally expensive. The last time I checked, there are kits for certain diseases that cost almost ₦500,000. So those ones are not, mm, they're not cheap. I won't say it otherwise. They're actually expensive. The ELISA machine itself is expensive. We all
So,
know that.
so
So
from what you've just
that's basically
explained,
it.
ABST is easy to set up. Water quality test is also easy to set up if you have an incubator. And then maybe I should take this moment to
Yes.
say something Farmalad can do, right? If you're here and you're a young animal
Yes.
health professional, you're watching, you understand the need to set up these things, right? Farmalab will be providing just for one person based on recommendations of Dr. Tumsiyya, one person an incubator, right? So we'll give it up. But you have to be watching this live,
Thank
right?
you. That's nice.
We will buy it
That's
and
nice.
send it to you
You have to be.
because this is going to be our contribution. It's such an
Wow.
important topic. And the more we start carrying out
Thank you. Well
tests,
done, doctor.
right? Thank you. The more we start carrying out tests nationally, we are not just saving our animal, population, we're equally saving human lives because of the
Saving
increased
ourselves.
threat, yes, of AMR. So ABST is easy to set up if you have an incubator, water quality test, also easy, feed test, proximate analysis, even serology, right? Because I know when I was in your lab in Vetco,
No, you don't need, no, you don't, yes, you don't need your incubator for your proximate analysis, but for the feed microbiology,
you need that.
you need your incubator.
Mm,
You know,
mm.
they're different. Yes, they're different. The proximate analysis looks out for the nutritional quality, the
Okay.
nutritional component, sorry, of the feed in terms of carbohydrates, crude protein, and vitamins, fats, and what have you not. So that's more, it's more of a complicated process. But with the incubator, you can carry out your feed microbiology if you're suspecting, if there is need for you to query the feed. Yes, yes, definitely.
All right. So we have ABSD, we have water test, water quality test, we have your feed test also with the feed microbiology. Proximate analysis. Is it easy to set that up from your experience? The equipment?
Now, no, for the
Mm,
proximate analysis, it's not.
okay. All
It's
right.
not.
So serology
But
also
there are
it's not.
several labs around here in Nigeria that offer those services.
We're going to be coming to that because you're going to be giving us a list of the labs that we can get to. We know, of course, we can get to
Okay.
Vetco Diagnostic in
Vetco,
Kaduna,
Kaduna,
yes,
yes,
to send
Kaduna.
sample just in case you cannot set this up on your own. We also know that ELISA is difficult to access, right? But serology is easy, right?
Yes.
So you don't need some really,
HAHI is
yes,
easy.
easy, right?
Yes.
So
You
what?
know, serology, under the serology, you have the HAHI and you also have the ELISA. So they are both serological methods because you use the serum. You understand? So they're both you literally use the serum. So they both are serological tests, both ELISA and the HAHI.
So, Doc, time is really going, right? But and we still have a
Okay.
live demonstration. If somebody wants
Yes.
to contact you, right? How easy will it be for you to run a class for us? Maybe a Zoom class. If you want to have a Zoom class, maybe not on YouTube, a Zoom class on some of these basic tests, will it be easy for you to do?
Sure, why not? Why not?
Like a
I'll
mentoring
be
session?
happy. I'll be happy. Yeah, I'll be happy to. I'll be happy to.
Fantastic. So I
Yeah.
will go to the comment section quickly just to pick out a few comments that are popping up on our screen. Quite a lot of commendations for you. People are proud of you, Dr. Tumsiyya. We have Dr. Tumsiyya among the best vet doctors out there. Look for her and get the best. So that's from Jamilu. Man, all right. So see, doctor, we have quite a handful of people. Yeah, knowledge is indeed power. So that's from Mohammed Suleiman. We have well done dog, we have plenty thumbs up, we have nice one dog. So we have nice job. Okay, so let me bring this out because this is also unique. Nice job dog. Vet 16 Udux is proud of you. What's Vet Udux 16? 2016 you might say. So let's bring out. Oh, see, I see a comment from Dr. Gani. Dr. Gani is saying, well delivered, Dr. Tumsiyya. Your grasp of diagnostic protocol impresses me. The proper use of laboratory and interpretation of result is what separates the men from the boys on the field. So again, I think that's one of the things that we hope that the small mentoring class that we're going to create at the end of this master class will be able to solve. Lovely, doctor. Proud of you. How can we use lab to prevent disease outbreak? So somebody from Blue Blood Veterinary. How can we use your lab to prevent disease outbreak on our farm? That's Dr. Bala. So please go ahead. Say something about that. Then we'll go into some demonstration.
So basically, yes, basically, we what we advise clients to do is once you get your DOC, there's something. Yes, I forgot to mention something very important. There's something here in Vetco we do here at Vetco. It's called DOC screening, and what it means is day-old chick screening. So basically, we request farmers to bring samples of their live chicks. Immediately they collect them from their point of supply, wherever they get their birds from, they bring it straight to us. They don't take the birds to the farm, they bring it straight down to the lab. Based on the homogeneity of the sample, I think 15 samples will be enough. So what we do is we take samples from these chicks through intracardial puncture, get some quantity of blood, and allow the blood to coagulate and harvest the serum. And basically, what we do is what the DOC entails, the day-old chick screening. Basically, what it entails is we monitor the antibody titer of the chicks, and what we do is we use it to um, how do I say, we use it to create a specific, not create, based on the results, we make out a vaccination schedule tailored for that particular batch of bird based on the antibiotic antibody titer level. So what we do here is we do the HAHI for the Newcastle disease, and then we do
Right.
we tell you when next to vaccinate. Based on the result, we come up with a vaccination schedule tailored for that specific batch of birds. So I can say we can prevent disease outbreaks by getting it right from the start, basically. So if you make sure you do a DOC screening for your birds in terms of quality, in terms of their immune status, in terms of getting their vaccinations right, which is very important, and basically engaging the services of a professional, you can easily prevent disease outbreaks. So seromonitoring, after the DOC, we subject animals to seromonitoring so as to know when to vaccinate, because people have this idea, especially that of the Newcastle disease. They just vaccinate their birds on a monthly basis without knowing if the antibody titer is protective or not. Sometimes the antibody titers are protective and you just vaccinate and then you open them up to field infection, and then there's a drop in egg production and you're faced with so many challenges. So basically, seromonitoring is an integral and important part of making sure you prevent an outbreak on a farm.
Yes,
So
I
getting it
so
right from the start.
I know you taught me too when I came to your lab about the serum monitoring. Dr. Charles said,
Yeah.
honestly, I'm impressed with the quality of our field restraint. All right, so that's Dr. Charles. Then I think somebody mentioned something. Doctor, for laying birds, we do Lasota monthly to vaccinate now, and we hardly take sample to the lab to check for the titer value. How do you encourage this, or is it not necessary? So, I know the common knowledge here in Nigeria is that you should be doing Lasota every 1 month. Some has changed it to every 3 weeks now, and their production keeps crashing. What do you advise? I guess that's what you mean by serum monitoring. Doctor, hello? Doctor, can you hear me? Hello, Doc. Are you here?
Gita, network in sake freeze.
No, we can hear you.
Gita, network in sake freeze.
Hello, Doc. We can hear you. All right. So if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, it's a perfect time to do that. You can do that right away. Click on the subscription button, and then if you've not given Dr. Tumsiyya a big thumb up, I think it will also be like a nice time to get it done. So while she works on our internet, I also see Dr. Rosemary. She's saying you should DM her for some laboratory equipment at an affordable price. Just to let you know that you will be getting one incubator based on Dr. Tumsiyya's recommendation for a young vet who is practicing. I'm going to be contacting you. I think I have your contact and I know you, to get us the simplest incubator for a vet to start up. Every other thing you get it, but Farmalot will be supporting a vet with an incubator. Then I have another question why she's trying to work on. Okay, I think she's back. Okay, so let's get her in before we consider this question. All right, so Abdul Kadir is saying, okay, Doc, welcome back. We missed you. Can you
Thank
hear?
you.
All
Sorry
right.
about the
Yeah,
network
so I understand. I
glitch.
understand. So somebody said, Abdul Kadir Gimba Usman, Doctor, why is your lab not
Yeah.
considering expanding your
Yeah.
service to your neighboring state, Kano, by opening a branch in the state? Such services are easily, such services are not easily accessible. All right. So somebody is saying, why is Vetco not opening? But I guess we will pick up the person's number and then ask him to fund the expansion, right? All right, but I think the idea of this masterclass.
No, anyways, it's something where it's a welcome. It's a great idea.
Mm. Okay, so I'm just going to bring up. We have quite a okay. I see another comment, maybe the last comments, and then you go ahead and list the labs that we have and how people can access them. Most farmers are not patient for lab result, which is a major concern. They just want result. How can we do to convince them otherwise? When a farmer is not really open to, you tell him you run this test and then it's going to take you so time and the farmer cannot wait, what would be your advice?
My advice, as I stated at the beginning of this lesson, is that we need to speak with a single voice.
Mm,
Once the farmer, you're coming to me for a solution, and I'm telling you this is the way. But because you know you can go elsewhere and get the same services I'm refusing to render, rather subject you to an array of tests,
mm,
you need to make the farmer understand. I'm sorry to say, other than being vets in Nigeria, you have to also be I don't even know what to call it. You have to have really good convincing skills. Not convince,
mm,
yes, convincing skills, but like when farmers have problem, I tell them, calm down. I'm going to look at your farm. I'm going to look at your problem. I'm going to examine your birds. If they need anything that does not warrant me going into the lab and carrying out any test, I'll start rendering that service. But for now, you have to be patient because you have to give them examples. Even when they go to hospitals and they give you certain tests to run, you have to go and run them before the doctor can go forward. So why should ours be different?
mm,
You know, you have to make the farmers, you have to convince the farmers. I know it can be frustrating, but then we have we have a role to play, and we all have taken an oath to do right by the profession. So please, we have to indulge ourselves. We have to. I implore each and every one of us to please play their role, please play their part, and definitely we're not there yet, but we're close. We're somewhere because as I stated earlier, I have farmers who request for lab tests even before I suggest. Sometimes I'll tell them, madam, there is no need. Don't worry, this is not. We don't have to go to the lab. They're like, no, madam. So so we're getting there, and I know sooner than later we'll get there. So please, we need to convince the farmers to see the importance. And I tell my colleagues and I tell other professionals, when farmers seek out for your services, you have to sit down and make them understand. You just, when they say they want farm visit, you just don't wear your lab coat and you go there and you move around and around. You have to do something. You have to incorporate certain analysis in your routine, like checking the water, checking their feed, taking blood samples for sero monitoring, disease surveillance. Basically, it just doesn't have to, you don't have to always go to the farm and just look around and look around. No, you have to do something. You have to make them understand this at the beginning. This is what it will entail, and this is the benefit of doing it the right way. So we have a role to play. It's not easy, but then things like farm auditing, farm hygiene auditing can save us a lot of stress, while the birds are there and while the farm is empty. So um, and the person that talked about expanding, we're working hand in hand with colleagues from some parts of Nigeria. They send samples, and that's why we have taken it upon ourselves to enlighten our fellow colleagues, other colleagues who don't have the opportunity to work in labs, on how to properly collect samples, package them,
yes.
and also store them and also transport, collect samples, package them, and transport them down to us because the quality of your sample ends with the quality of your product. again automatically translates to the outcome of your result. So that's how, so we're working, we get samples from Zamfara, from Sokoto, from Kano, from Abuja. We have people send samples down, and we we run tests, and then we send results back to them, and we have them coming back. We have them coming back. So that,
All right, so her network is off again, but I guess she will soon be back. Just a quick housekeeping, and then in 5 minutes' time, the masterclass will be out. If you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I think it's the best time to just hit on the subscription button, like the video, give Dr. Tumsiyya a thumb up if you like or you appreciate what value she has brought to the table. Then, if you are a young animal health professional, a vet to be precise, and you're on this masterclass and you see the need to have this lab, Dr. Tumsiyya, once she comes up again, she's going to be sharing her email and she's going to be recommending to Pharmalab. We will be supporting just one vet with an incubator based on her recommendation. So you're going to pick her email, we'll tell her how to assess, and then based on her recommendation, we'll be supporting that one person. I believe she will soon be up because the two key things she needs to do before she leaves. I know the network in Kaduna can be really very epileptic because of the recent happening, is to also tell us the list of available labs, and it's very, very important. The list of available labs we have in Nigeria, just in case you don't have enough resources to start and to set it up yet. But you understand from this class that tinini tanana biko biko is not like a good way to go about poultry medicine, and you also want to commit to having your own farmer go through the right procedure, then she'll be giving us the list of labs to consider. Welcome back. The next time we will come and build a
thank
mast
you.
around where you stay. All right. So we have
I think so. I think so.
two quick things to attend to before we leave because we're almost time is almost up. Where so a young vet who or a professional who don't have the resources to set up labs see the need from your master class why he or she needs to engage in proper disease diagnosis. Where are the list of labs that you have at the tip of your finger across Nigeria that he or she can package
Okay.
sample and send to? Go ahead.
First and foremost, we have Vetco Diagnostics located here
Ah,
in
I know that.
Kaduna.
I know that.
Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. And then we have the laboratory at University of Jos. And then we also have one located in Abuja, Mianya specifically. And we have the CHI in Ibadan. So for now, I think these are the four labs. I can confidently say you can package a sample. So settled, we have one in the west, we have southwest, we have one, we have in the north, and so these are places I can say you can comfortably take your samples, package your samples, and send them across.
Okay.
Yes, this for
You-
now. For now, I don't know if you correct me. There are more, but for now, these are the four I am
Is
aware. I'm well
MVRI
aware of.
part of the lab that we can consider MVRI in JUS?
Yes, MVRI, yes. Sorry, I forgot to mention MVRI, yes. But
Okay.
I think they do more of research. But yes, MVRI. Thank you. MVRI.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Let me just bring up this comment lastly. He said, based on my experience and data available to me, veterinarians hardly visit lab services. I think we need to encourage them more. So that's the purpose. That's from Dr. Olabode Afolayan. I also know him as a poultry veterinarian in Ibadan, and he has a lab too. We need to get off this discussion and understand that there's really need to start patronizing a lab. Dr. Tumsiyya, do we still have a little time to demonstrate? So sample collection, that's about the bonus we have for this master class. Sample collection, are we set for that? Just a brief demonstration
Yes.
of how to collect samples.
Yes, I'm up for that. Yes, I'm ready.
All right, so let's watch you do it.
Okay. Um, excuse me.
All right, so if you've not subscribed while she's preparing to especially for those of us who don't have a lab, we also have we try as much as possible to incorporate practical experience into this type of masterclass the best we can. We hope that in the nearest future we will have really very good cameras to go into places where people are doing practical demonstration and show us how to do these things without being in the four wall of a university. If you've not clicked on the subscribe button, it's a good time to do that. And if you've not given Dr. Tumsiyya a good thumb up, I think you should do that. The video will be available live on our YouTube channel for you to listen to, and then we can move it forward from there. All right, so I'm going to be encouraging one more screen.
So I'm going to be both. I'm going to show you how to take tracheal swab from a live bird, and also how to take blood samples from the wing web.
Mm.
Animals to unnecessary stress.
Mm.
So I'm going to start by taking demonstrating, taking a tracheal swab. So I have my sterile swab stick sealed. So I'm going to break the seal.
So, but why are you
My
taking a
bird.
tracheal swab? Why are you taking a tracheal swab, doc?
You can use it for antibiotic sensitivity tests,
Okay, okay,
basically. There's so
okay.
many other, even for viral isolation. Yes, there are different reasons
For doing that.
why you can take a tracheal swab.
All right, go ahead, doctor.
So I'm going to open the mouth. You can
Mm.
see my hands are
Mm.
placed on the commissures,
Mm.
and I have my swab stick. So this process has to be quick and swift because you're literally pushing something down the windpipe. So you have to be quick and swift so you don't asphyxiate the animal. So this, and then the tongue, and then you press it down, and then you go in quickly, and then you're out. I don't know if
Yes, we saw that.
anybody, if yeah, so you just literally go in deep down, dip, and then you're out.
And then cock it back, right?
Okay. Yes, and you cover it back. And then, most importantly, labeling. You have to
Label.
label your samples, name of the farm. There are some detailed information your lab will need to help them with investigation. So you don't forget that you have to label. In terms of poultry, you have to the name of the farm, age, and basically some vital information, age and vaccination schedule, and what have you know, based on the investigation you want to carry out. So I have my bird in this position, hold here, and I have my. I'm going to take, because I will assume I want to run a serological analysis. So I'll be needing serum. So I'm going to use a coagulant-free syringe, depending. So proper, you have the bird in this position. I have my. I
You want
have
to
my
take some
syringe
blood sample,
free.
right?
Yes, to take some blood sample from the wing web. So basically, there's this technique we do. So there is a ligament just here. I don't know if people
We
can
can
see
see
it.
it. Yes, of
So
course,
you
we
go
can see it.
beneath, yes, you go beneath the ligament to reduce bleeding. So it will help you. So you go beneath it, and then you're in the vein. So you can see the blood coming out. So you just take some few mils, depending on what you want to do, and then you just occlude, and then you're out. So did we get that?
We got
So
that.
this is our blood, and then you put a cap back, and so this is it. This is our blood from the bird, and
Fantastic.
you swab, you clean, you clean, you clean, you clean, and you can see it's minimal bleeding because of what I did. You understand? So I went beneath the ligament and then into the vein. So thank you so much.
Oh,
This is
that's
so depending.
so we saw how to take.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. So we saw how to take the tracheal swab, right?
Yes. So how it's blood.
And then we took also blood sample,
Yes. So
basically
to
for
encourage
serology.
separation. Yes, for serology. So I'll need the whole blood to separate so I can harvest the serum. So to encourage separation, you draw the plunger back a
But
little, and then you place your syringe in a horizontal, slightly slanted position, something like this, to help separation. You leave it for a while. Before the end of the day, you should have some enough serum to harvest. At least you can have 0.5 mils of serum. It should be enough.
all right, fantastic. You know, somebody said, I have a dream to establish one in Mina. Dr. Tumsiyya ready to come back home to start together. That's Dr. Suleiman Gimba. So somebody's giving you a contract already. But I think, you know, when I came to Vetco Diagnostic, I spent around 3 days to learn some of these basic procedure. To all veterinary professionals, paraprofessionals, animal health uh, uh, colleagues listening, it's not too late to learn. Dr. Tumsiyya has said she's available. Can you give us your email? Email for two things. The first is that so that people can contact you. Okay, let me bring you back on board on your normal.
Sure.
All
Let me
right,
just
good.
come back on the show.
We can see you now. Thank you for coming back. So you will need
Yes.
to help us drop your email so that people who want you to
Okay.
mentor them, and I really advise vets to go through this mentoring, right? Who and then we can take it from there. Probably
Yes.
organize a Zoom class where it will just be in-house and then you go through the procedure step by step. I equally realized that you gave me a manual when I came to Vetco Diagnostic to do this. Those manuals too can be packaged and make available. You could ask questions, but more importantly, you could
Available.
also
Yes.
be under the mentorship of Dr. Tumsiyya, who has been doing this on a day-to-day basis, hoping that one day we will increase the awareness of the importance of these laboratory tests, and we will also improve the practical application or the implementation of these tests. Dr. Tumsiyya, you've been a wonderful mentor. You've been a wonderful teacher today. And of course, you can see from the numerous comments that we're all proud of you. Is there going to be a last word to all vets or all farmers listening to you?
Yes. All farmers. I'm going to address farmers. I'm going to address my fellow colleagues, my fellow professionals, animal health workers, animal scientists, that please, we have a role to play. And we alone can add value to our profession. Nobody can do that for us. So I implore the entire veterinary community to please be professional. It's don't let anybody rush you, don't let anybody box you to a corner. You're a professional and they don't expect you to do magic. They want quality service from you and you're ready to provide quality service with their corporation. So my dear farmers, we're here to put a smile on your face, but above all, you have to trust us to see results. You have to trust us to go through a process. You have to trust us to do what is right by you and what is right by the animals and what is right by you as a farmer. So I implore the entire veterinary community, the farmers, and everybody else to please engage and embrace the services of professionals, veterinarians, and veterinarians, please embrace and learn to use the laboratory. We have to change the narrative. We are charged with that responsibility. We have to change the narrative. We have to change our ways. We have to change how we do things. Laboratory analysis, laboratory diagnosis is the way forward. There is no, it's the new normal. You know, nobody does blind diagnosis anywhere. So it's the new normal, please. So I let me plead with all of us to please. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. I personally, first-hand experience, I have farmers who appreciate the use of the lab. So we can all have the same we can all have the same equally. And I don't know for people, but for me, job satisfaction is key. When I when I work with farmers and I'm able to give them results by using the lab, I go back home and I feel home smiling. When I go home, my husband can even tell that I did something satisfactory. So, job satisfaction, you can get that by using the lab. So, I implore you to do that. And thank you for having me. So, that's it.
Oh, this is this is so nice. But before you leave, of course, when I grow up, I want to also be a mentor like you. So keep the fire of
Ah, Doc,
this whole lab thing burning, because it's a crusade. We can't let it. We can't let
yeah.
it go. But let's have your email. Now, the purpose of the email
Okay.
is to for anybody who wants to be under your mentoring. You can email Dr. Tumsiyya. Then, more importantly, for us in Farmalat, as I said, we want to support one vet that you will recommend to get an incubator. So, what's your email so that I can type it in the comment box?
Yeah, it's T Man Isa,
T man T
TMA.
M A. All right. Isa.
Yes, T Man,
Yeah.
TMA
Yeah.
double N. Yes, at gmail.com.
Wait. T-M-A-N-N. Can you take that
Yes,
again?
ISAH,
ISAH. Yes.
TMA double N. Yes, at gmail.com.
Can you say that again?
Tmanisa at gmail.com.
Okay. All right. Good.
TMA double NISAH at gmail.com.
All right. So I've dropped that. So if you want her to mentor you, I think it would be a brilliant time to communicate with her and then tell her, I really want to go through the basis. I did that. So I'm telling you to do something I've done. 3 days with them in Kaduna, learning the processes of proper disease diagnosis. Then if you want to, you have something working going on for you, and you think having an incubator will work for you, and you need that support, just one person, you can also email her. Based on our recommendation, we'll be providing one incubator. Dr. Tumsiyya, on behalf of the entire veterinary community, we can't thank you enough for this masterclass. We are
Thank you so
hoping that
much.
people will reach out to you. You're going to be able to multiply the knowledge you have in your laboratory practice in vetco diagnostic across Nigeria. More importantly, we want to see that humanity will be saved because of this increased knowledge. See us well to your family, and then happy holiday. To
Thank
everyone,
you. Thank you
have
for
a
having
wonderful
me.
afternoon.
Have
Thank
a
you
nice
too.
day.
You too.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.